Welcome to the second tutorial where we will take a look at a handful of commands and functions available in XpressDox. Each of the commands and functions I will be discussing here is available from the command editor located on the XpressDox ribbon. I suggest switching the view to list only the basic commands when you're getting started. The first thing I want to do in my template is change the case of my purchaser to ensure that the resulting text is always going to be changed into uppercase. To do that, I place my cursor in the correct place on the document and double-click on the function toUpper and complete the details required in the block which appears. A quick note here on what a fill point can be made up of. A fill point can be a simple one such as we saw in the first tutorial, but it can also consist of a data element, which is what we call purchaser, seller, property address, the names that we chose in our previous tutorial, as well as a function or a command. In this case, the fill point will consist of the function toUpper, as well as the data element name to which the function should be applied, purchaser name. Now we need to delete the purchaser name fill point since we have an additional one on our template. Note that the uppercase function will only be applied at this point in the template. Remember that we've used this purchaser name data element elsewhere in the document. Since I'm leaving that fill point unchanged, the resulting text will be as it is typed in the interview. The next change I'm going to make on this template is regarding the purchase price. I'd like the program to format it properly and also use the $ function to automatically convert the number to words. Making sure that my cursor is in the right place on the template, I double-click on the Format Number function and then answer the questions. I give it the data element name, purchase price, a format for the output, the decimal and thousands style, and some help text to guide the user along on the interview screen. Delete the unnecessary fill point left behind. And then I do the same for the $ function. Position my cursor in the right place on the template and double-click on the $ function. The data element name is purchase price, and then click OK. I want parentheses around my currency, so let's place those around the $ function, and then clean up any extra text left behind on the template. Now I'd like to replace the bank name with a fill point, but instead of just presenting the user with a simple fill point and asking them to type in the bank name, I rather want to give them a predetermined list from which to choose on the interview screen. So if I double-click on one of the choose commands, let's use the first one, choose from list. The first thing I need to do is give it a data element name, just a name I can give this list, bank is fine, and then supply a list of choices. The choices are the bank names, one per line, and click on OK. Now I've inserted a choose from list command, which is what will go onto the interview. But since I want to insert the result of the list, the actual bank name, onto this document, I need a further fill point here, a simple one called bank on my template. This isn't always the case. Sometimes the result of a list is used in some kind of document logic. Then we wouldn't need this additional fill point. So remember that when you need the result of the list on the template, it's imperative to insert this extra fill point. Next, I'd like to take a look at how XpressDox handles dates in templates. Using the Format Date function, I'd like to replace this date here inside this document. Double-click on Format Date in the commands and then answer the questions in the block which appears. A data element name is required. I'll call it Date of Sale. Next is a format string. Choose from the list or you can type in your own string. The default language is English, but other languages are supported. The Format Date function will place a calendar control on the interview screen and then output the selected dates on the document in the string chosen here. There are various other dates throughout this document as well as numbers, which would be done in the same way as shown in this tutorial. Now I'm ready to run my template. By clicking on Run this template, any changes I've made will automatically be saved. Have a look at the interview screen which appears. It's starting to look quite different to what we saw in our first tutorial. Yes, there are some simple fill points. The first few are the same as what we've seen before, but there are some more interesting things going on here. Look what happens when we get to our purchase price. The help text, which we supplied in the fill point, is presented to the user in the block below. Next is the list of banks, and lastly is the date of sale calendar control. Click OK and a new document will be assembled. The name of the purchaser has been inserted in uppercase, but I would have liked it in bold. It's the first chevron of any fill point that determines the style of the resulting text. Because you are now working with a normal Microsoft Word document, that bold attribute can be inserted here in the document, or you can return to the template and make the change there. Rerun the template. Note that by clicking on Use Previous Data, I don't have to retype anything. Data is stored for this instance of Word, but XpressDox can also be configured to store data permanently. This time the purchaser's name is still in uppercase, but now it's in bold. At the end of the document, that same information was reused, but the name is in title case, which is how it was typed in the interview. The toUpper function was not applied to that fill point. The purchase price has been inserted in the format I chose, as well as converted to words, and the date of sale has been inserted into the document using the string format I selected in my fill point. And here's the result of my list. You are now ready to insert your first few commands into your XpressDox template. Please refer to our website for further information and email support@xpressdox.com if you have any questions.